Good morning. This is Mr. Janis. What you might not know is that before I started teaching here at Knuckles Farm, I tried my hand at riding my bike around America. The story of my adventure begins in Chicago, where my friends and family came to see me off, and then I reached Indiana, long straightaways of cornfields on both sides. And Ohio began as much of the same until I got to Cleveland, and I reached Lake Erie. Beautiful riding and beautiful campsites all along Lake Erie, along the coast of Ohio and Pennsylvania. How's that for a good morning view? After Pennsylvania, I reached New York, where I met two dudes I called the Sendy Bros, who rode with me all the way to Niagara Falls. Can you hear them? And after parting with the Sendy Bros, I made it into Maine, my first corner, but not without some struggle, because it rained on me for 48 hours straight in Maine. Check out those wrinkles. After getting to corner 1, Maine, I had to stride towards corner 2, Florida. And on the way, I got to go through Washington, D.C. and ride my bike past the White House. And the next destination is somewhere you might recognize. Richmond, Virginia. It was this trip. It was this exact stop that convinced me to move here when I was done with it all. And then I finally made it to Florida, my second corner of the U.S. I was so excited I had to do a little dance with my bike Wanda. But again, the corners did not make it easy, because when I was in Florida, Hurricane Ian struck. You can see how deep that water was. It was up to my chest out there in the street. And what's Florida without just dropping in on a little University of Florida Gators football game? And oh, did it start getting hot around here along the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, but at least the beach views were great. A lot of sweat was dropped on that sand. And Texas was just as daunting, but not because of the heat, actually because of rain. I had to cross a great number of arroyos, holding Wanda up as I walked across. But luckily, next was my favorite region of the U.S., the Southwest region. Look at those colors, look at that sun, look at those views. This made it all worth it. Arizona was a treat. My last state I broke into on my trip was California. This is a clip from Los Angeles, the boardwalk of Los Angeles, right at sunset. I made my way up the coast of California, and I know I said Arizona was a treat, but this was truly the actual dessert of my ride. All the way up Pacific Coast Highway 1, through San Luis Obispo, through Big Sur, and ultimately making it to where I used to live, San Francisco, California. And now by this time it was December, and I just got frozen out. My tent was getting so cold at night, I couldn't feel my toes or my hands in the morning, so I had to get on a train. And that's when I called my trip. I rode my train back from San Francisco all the way back to Chicago, through Nevada, through Utah, through Colorado. And the next part of my story is you all, is Knuckles Farm. Because after I got back to Chicago, I went back to Richmond. Yes, and now I'm here at Knuckles Farm to teach you, to show you how you can plan your own bike across America.